Sir Stephen House, failed Police Scotland Chief Constable and now temporary Metropolitan Police Commissioner, sounds like he's trying to rally some support from MPs for a potential step into Dick's shoes, after he told a Home Affairs Select Committee that the problems within the Metropolitan Police are not just down to a few bad apples. Appearing in front of the committee on Wednesday the 20th of April, he insisted that the force was taking action to root out unacceptable behaviour as fast as possible. Following the magnificent failings of Dick, none of which I think I need to repeat in this video, Sir Stephen House said, "There is a significant campaign with the organisation to deal with this completely unacceptable behaviour, to root it out and to exit those people who are exhibiting that behaviour from our organisation as fast as possible and in the right way." And when asked by MPs if it was in fact just a few bad apples, as indicated by Dick, he said, "People have talked about a few bad apples. Quite clearly that's not the situation at all. It's not a few bad apples. You can't simply say that Wayne Couzens and a couple of other people have done something wrong. That's been the spearhead of the problem, I would suggest. But there is a wider issue within the organisation, which we acknowledge and we are dealing with." No, what's happening is that this is being used as an excuse to weed out people who are not a good fit for the force, the good officers, so that there is no one left to grass on the bad, and also throwing a few bad ones to the wolves in an attempt to make it look like something is actually being done. But for as long as the police remain the organisation they are today, without a complete overhaul, the problem of serious corruption in all police forces will never go away. House told the committee that he would not oppose police holding a licence which needed to be reviewed every 5 years, and that, every now and again, checking that somebody is still up to snuff, doing things in the way they should, is aware of recent legal developments because the law changes all the time, is not a bad thing to do. It'd make a nice change if they knew the law, the basic law, in the first place. We would certainly expect doctors to know what the recent developments are, what medication, etc. What treatments, we should expect the same of police officers, and there is constant change. But the problem with this licence is that nothing will change. The issue comes from recruitment and piss poor training, in my view. New recruits are brought into the force, they're put with bad apples, existing bad apples to use his phrase, and the rot then seeps into the junior officers, seeing them use their discretion to target somebody or to ignore something, leading the new recruits to do the same thing. In fact, when I was working in sales, we had a saying that your bad habits will exhibit themselves twofold in a poorly trained employee. So if I was to take a 20-minute break, my new employee would take a 40-minute break thinking that that's appropriate. If I stopped for a cigarette, he would stop for 2. Now, it's not exactly misconduct level behaviour, but this is learnt behaviour from the very start. And this is where the problem is. And once people have this idea about what they can and can't get away with, it's then too late to retrain them and they're going to fail in their job. This is why the initiation and learning must be 100% on the ball. Committee Chair Dame Diana Johnson suggested the public see Met officers like Gene Hunt from Life on Mars, rather than a modern professional police officer.
Good work, Raymondo. I'm bumping you back up to DS. Though this time make it stand for Detective Sergeant and not dog shit.
You're wrong. You're wrong, Dame Diana. We don't think of police as Gene Hunt when we think about the police. We only think about police being Gene Hunt when we think about detectives from the 70s or 80s. But now we see Metropolitan Police officers and all other force constables as more like Constable Savage from the 9 o'clock news.
Come.
You want to see me, sir?
Ah, Constable Savage. Come in, shut the door. Yes, sir. Now then, Savage. I want to talk to you about some charges that you've been bringing lately. I think that perhaps you're being a little overzealous.
Which charges do you mean, then, sir?
Well, for instance, this one. Loitering with intent to use a pedestrian crossing. Savage, maybe you're not aware of this, but it is not illegal to use a pedestrian crossing. Neither is smelling of foreign food. an offence.
You sure, sir?
Also, there is no law against urinating in a public convenience or coughing without due care and attention.
If you say so, sir.
Yes, I do say so, Savage. Didn't they teach you anything at training school?
Oh, sorry, sir.
Some of the... Some of these cases are just plain stupid. Looking at me in a funny way. Is this some kind of joke, Savage?
No, sir.
And we have some more here. Walking on the cracks in the pavement. Walking in a loud shirt in a built-up area during the hours of darkness. And walking around with an offensive wife. In short, Savage, in the space of 1 month, you have brought 117 ridiculous, trumped-up and ludicrous charges.
Yes, sir.
Against the same man,
Yes, sir.
a Mr. Winston Kodogo of 55 Mercer Road.
Yes, sir.
Without the canned laughter. Although I'm pretty sure some of my viewers can think of other more appropriate examples. House said that the Metropolitan Police needs to recruit just over 4,000 new constables in the next 12 months from 40,000 applications, due to only about 1 in 10 being taken on. Earlier this month, the Metropolitan Police declared itself as an anti-racist organisation, which is pretty rich. I mean, anyone can declare themselves as anything they want. Wayne Couzens could declare he isn't a murderer, but it doesn't mean he isn't, does it? Especially when there's evidence to the contrary. Senior officers also said they would seek talks with the Home Office and City Hall on whether they should have the power to randomly or with cause to inspect officers' personal phones to check they're not posting inappropriate material online. Which is something I've been saying for some time now. I mean, yes, there is the element of privacy that needs to be considered, but the right to privacy is a right that can be impeded by law in cases where it may be needed to prevent crime. So I don't necessarily think this is such a bad idea. Or at the very least, stop them bringing their personal phones to work and allow them to only use a work phone, which can obviously be monitored. But regardless of what word salad they're going to throw out to appease the public, House is currently running the Metropolitan Police and appears to be stroking the egos of the Select Committee by telling them what they want to hear. However, former police officer Wendy Chamberlain, the Liberal Democrat Member of Parliament for North East Fife, said Sir Stephen's past record made him completely unsuitable to restore faith with London's communities. Wendy Chamberlain said, "After so many scandals, the Met desperately needs strong new leadership to rebuild public trust. Putting it at the hands of someone who left his own trail of scandals in Police Scotland is not the way to do that." House was forced out of Police Scotland when Lamara Bell and John Ewell died after police failed to respond to a passerby's 101 call, giving details of their crashed car near Stirling in 2015, only turning up 3 days after the crash. Police Scotland were fined £100,000 for health and safety failures over the fatal M9 motorway crash. They also paid £1 million in compensation to Ms Bell's family, which obviously comes out of the taxpayers' money. Now, I certainly don't think that House or anyone else the government elect will be suitable for the job of Metropolitan Police Commissioner. They're all using the buzzwords now, but in reality, what they're looking for is a puppet to control, someone with a woke agenda that matches their own. Whatever happens, without a complete overhaul of the police service, in my opinion, nothing's really going to change. Big thank you to channel supporters, especially these guys. Your support is truly appreciated. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, as I know many of you will. And until next time, stay safe, look after each other, film the police and other officials.